Hello everyone. So today in this video we are going to talk about the discontinuation of Creative Cloud sync files for businessman. So Adobe made a recent announcement regarding the discontinuation of CC file sync service for its individual as well as enterprise and business customers. So we're going to talk about what does it mean for you and your organization, the impact, any actions that you should be taking now, and the timeline for key events. So let's take a look at the KB article and let's try to understand what it's trying to convey. So there are actually two KB articles available. One of them is for individual customers and then the other one is for enterprise and business customers. So if the KB article you're referring to says discontinuation of Creative Cloud sync files for a business plan, and that's the correct article you're referring to if you are a business or an enterprise customer. So synced files, what are actually those? So synced files are actually the files that are uploaded onto CC web, the Creative Cloud Assets web, and you can see or you can look at those files by going to the Creative Cloud desktop application, and on the left hand side switch to the files tab, and then here click on the open sync folder. Now if this cloud icon on your CC desktop application says that it's up to date, if the file syncing status says up to date, then and if you then click on this open sync folder, then it will show you all the files that have currently been uploaded into your Creative Cloud files folder. Now, what you should be doing next is that you should be just copying all these files and then saving it into a separate location if you want to back it up. The other thing that you could do is that you can even leave them there on your system and not worry much, because Adobe is not going to remove these files from this folder. Adobe is only going to remove the files that are uploaded onto the web. So this is a local cached copy of your CC files, and you have got complete control over it. Adobe is not going to touch these files. These remain in your control all the time, even after the date when Adobe has completely stopped supporting the CC synced files. So another question that may come to your mind is that how can you find out if the files that you see here are the same ones that you have on the CC web, or if there is any difference, anything that you want to see. So to see your Creative Cloud synced files on the web, go to a browser. And also here in this KB article, it says that files can be accessed locally on the device through the Creative Cloud files folder or via the Creative Cloud website. So if you click on this link, it will open a new tab on your browser, and here you will be able to see your cloud assets. But notice that as of now, it only shows me the cloud documents, my libraries, the items that have been shared with me, and these are not going to be touched. So for example, the cloud documents, these are not going to be touched by Adobe. So anything that you may have created from Adobe XD or Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator and saved them as a cloud document, those are not going to be affected with this change. Even your libraries are going to remain unaffected. They will remain as they are. So how can you see those files that are synced under your Creative Cloud files folder? So to see those files, just go to this URL, remove this cloud documents, and instead just add files. And once you hit return, it will show you this synced files tab on the left hand side. And now here you can see all the files that I have synced under my Creative Cloud files. So these are the ones that are going to be affected. And if I want, I should be backing them up if these are really important for me. The other thing is that what is the best way to take a backup if you see them here on the Creative Cloud Assets web, but maybe your administrator hasn't allowed you to sync files, or maybe the current system on which you're working does not have file service enabled. So I'll say that the best way is again to get the file sync service enabled. Speak with your administrator, request them to enable the file sync service, and then when once the service is enabled, then give it some time so that it can sync all the contents to your system locally. And then when you see this green checkbox and it says that file syncing is up to date, then you can go here into the CCD and click on Open Sync folder, and then you can back it up onto your system, maybe into another location, or you can let it remain there. So coming back to my Word file. So what does it mean? We talked about it, like it's going to stop the Creative Cloud file sync service. The impact is that, again, any files that you may have saved there in the Creative Cloud file sync folder, those will not be available after a certain date. We'll talk about the key dates and timelines in just a few minutes. And any actions that you should take. If you have data saved in your Creative Cloud Assets web, then you should definitely back them up. If you are collaborating with other users on your Creative Cloud files with the data that you have saved in your Creative Cloud files, then that collaboration will also stop working after a certain date. And so if a cloud-based solution, cloud-based collaboration solution is really important for you, then you should probably go for some other cloud sync service, such as maybe OneDrive or Google Drive, Box or Dropbox. So Adobe is not recommending any particular one of them, but you can take a look at their offerings, plans they have, the type of file formats they support, and collaboration options they have, and then you can take a decision based on your business requirement. Then what options do the customers have if they want to share or collaborate on their InDesign or Illustrator or Photoshop documents? Then again, if you have if you are using the latest version of Photoshop and Illustrator, then you must be already aware that there is this cloud document format that is available in Photoshop and Illustrator. In Illustrator, it's called .aic, or the Illustrator Cloud Document Format. And so whenever you create a file in Illustrator and when you go to save, it gives you this option of saving it on the Creative Cloud. So if you save it on Creative Cloud, you have this option of saving your file on the cloud, and then you can collaborate with others. You can go to File, and you can click on Invite to Edit, and then you can send the invitation to some other colleague with whom you want to collaborate on this file. Then in InDesign, you have this new pre-release build for InDesign version 19. So if you go to your Creative Cloud desktop application under pre-release, and under pre-release tab, you'll find this InDesign pre-release. So please install that one, because this one has also got new cloud-based collaboration option available. That's the IDC file format. So for example, if I create a new document here in Adobe InDesign, and if I go to File and then go to Save As, it gives me this option to save to Creative Cloud. And if I do that, it will be saved as an IDC file format. And if I want, I can even go to File and then go to Invite to Edit, and then I can invite other users in my organization with whom I want to collaborate on this. So you can try this out. You can share your feedback with us, how good this workflow is, and if you have any specific business needs that you think this could solve, or maybe some improvements that could be made in this workflow, please share them with us. Let's talk about the impact a little more, because some customers have confusion around the storage and the functionalities it's going to impact. So it's not going to impact any other applications such as Lightroom CC. So for example, if you signed up for a 1 TB plan, that 1 TB is still there with the users. That is not going to change. It's just that the file, that storage space is not going to be used by the file sync service, because that's going to be discontinued. You still have options of saving your cloud documents, your CC libraries, then your Lightroom CC, and then it's also not going to affect the document cloud files. So anything that you had saved on DocCloud, the PDF files, the signed agreements, and other important files there, those are also not going to be impacted. And again, for actions, he should be backing up the files and folders. And then let's talk about the timeline. So the timelines have also been mentioned here on the KB article. And again, there are two different KB articles. And although the impact is the same for both individual and enterprise customers, the business customers, still there is a slight difference in the timeline. So starting February 1st, 2024, there'll be discontinuation of Creative Cloud synced files for personal users. So that means that any user who had assets saved under their personal IDs, if they're not using enterprise ID or business ID or federated ID and they're using Adobe IDs, then the files that were saved under that personal ID will be impacted, and files in the Creative Cloud files folder will no longer be copied to cloud storage. So if you copy something into your local folder, it's no longer going to be copied there. And also Adobe will be removing the files that are there on the assets web. So February 1, 2024 is an important date for all the individual customers. And then for all the business customers, after October 1st, 2024, CC file sync service will be stopped for all the business users. So that means that again, users will not be able to copy any data, any file locally onto their CC files folder, and they will not be able to access the assets that are saved on the CC web. So it's recommended that you check with your users who all are using these Creative Cloud sync files service, and recommend them to copy their data or back up their assets before these key dates. And as an enterprise administrator, how can you see who all from your organization are using the CC file sync service? So if you go to your admin console, and if your organization is migrated into the pooled storage plan or the ESM, the enterprise storage model, you will see a storage tab here. With that storage tab, you can generate reports and you can see how much storage space is being consumed by the users. So based on that report, you can reach out to the users and recommend necessary actions for them. Again, that storage space does not tell you what kind of files users have. It only tells you how much storage space the users have consumed. And Adobe will not be reaching out to the end users directly. They will be sending this notification emails to the enterprise administrators only. And if the end user has actually received an email from Adobe with the announcing with this email and the announcement about this change, then that means that that user must have had some plan, some personal entitlements on his ID, ID for maybe some time, or maybe they have made some transaction in the storage in the past few days. So even if they had a trial plan on their email addresses as a personal ID, then they are going to receive this notification. But if the user has not got any Creative Cloud license active on his ID under his as a personal ID, of course, then they will not be receiving this notification. So that means users who have got enterprise IDs, federated IDs, business IDs will not be notified. Only the users who have personal IDs and they too had some Creative Cloud plan on their email address at some point in time, they are going to be notified. So I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I hope that this has answered some of your questions. If you have any further questions or comments, please feel free to reach out. Please open support case from your admin console and we will try to help you out again. If you have any feedback, any comments, please post them in the comment section. And there is another thing that I want to talk about, like if you are using the DV applications like Adobe Premiere Pro and you want to use that collaboration service, or where you could save your video files, your footages, and want to collaborate with other users, then I think frame.io will be the best plan for you, or the best solution for you, where we can collaborate with number of team members and you can work together on those assets. I'll post a description or a KB article for that frame.io offering, and you can take a look at that. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one. Thanks.